You ever shopped at Walmart?
Everyone has. You'd
Right.
be an idiot if you didn't.
They're in just about every town, no matter how big or small. Well, I mean, there's a limit to how small, but...
This is true. But you know what Walmart almost always has? A fishing section.
That's also true.
And you know what they have now? House brand fishing stuff.
That's true.
Ozark Trail.
Everybody sees the Ozark Trail baits when you go into the Walmart. You know, they got a lipless. They even got a Whopper Plopper knockoff.
Yep. They also have soft plastics
They
now.
also, oh yeah, actually,
Which are pretty
I'm
decent.
actually pretty fine with their soft plastics. Some little brush hog knockoffs. I think they call them hammer hogs or something. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. But what not...
Well, I was going to say, especially that sun perch color, but
Yeah,
we'll keep going.
but what not everyone sees is their rods and reels.
Right. Did you know that Walmart sells combos?
Their
Specifically
own Ozark Trail combos.
Specifically a bait casting combo.
Yeah, we haven't seen a spinning one yet.
Yeah, I thought I did the other day. I even told Trey I saw one, then I went back in there, and I guess I lied about it. I don't know.
And I got ahead on the curve about this time last year and bought one.
Mm-hmm. We wanted to put it to the test.
And this is what this video is about. The Ozark Trail casting rod and reel combo.
Mm-hmm.
So it retails for what, $35?
$35. Now you might stop and think, for a bait casting combo, what's the closest thing to that? The Abu Garcia Black Max, which I'm pretty sure they've rebranded now,
The
and
Pro
it's,
or the
I think
Max
there's
X.
Max X.
Yeah.
Then you got steps up like the Silver Max and stuff like that. But
Honestly, the closest comparison...
that's like $67, $70.
The closest comparison at Walmart would be the Luz Xfinity casting. That's the closest comparison, not in per se quality, but what you will find at the Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that retails for $97.
indeed. So, what do you get for a much cheaper product? Well, to start off with the rod, it's still one piece.
Yeah.
That's pretty rare.
Think about that. Any rod and reel you've probably ever purchased under $30 or less.
Yeah.
It's probably a two-piece rod. And it's probably meant for pan fishing.
Yep.
To be honest with you.
Or it's a really thick catfishing rod.
Mm-hmm. It's probably Shakespeare, Mr. Crappie, something like that.
Somewhere amongst those brands.
Which, we're not discounting the effectiveness or even per se quality of said rods and reels under $30.
No.
That's what we grew up on too. And there's really, I mean, that's how most people are.
Yeah.
They're still in that price range.
But it's definitely interesting to point out the fact that for $35, you could get a full outfit with a one-piece rod.
And I think, let's go ahead and start talking about the rod first. I think that's probably, well, I mean, obviously it's the biggest part of the combo, but it's the first thing you're going to see.
So, the rod that you get is a 6.6 medium, okay? It is basically a short cranking rod.
And
It's
rated for a 1/4 to 7/8 ounce.
Yep, so, which is pretty hefty for...
I was going to say, that's actually on par with most medium heavies.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can definitely tell. I mean, it's obviously it's a fast action. So, really, it's probably the best for square bills.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good square bill rod. As you can see, it's still fast action, so all your bend is up here towards the tip.
Yep.
But it's a medium, so it's gonna have it's more parabolic than a medium heavy.
Indeed. The short length of it is nice for like ponds and stuff. It's not long to lug around in your car or your truck, and it's easy to whip around trees. And since it's a medium, you can really load up that tip, and if you have a heavier weight lure on, you can really sling that, which is one of the best things I can say about this, is that the casting distance is impeccable.
Mm-hmm.
But that has to do with the reel, which we'll get to later.
Right. And again, I will also add to the square bills swim jigs, lighter swim jigs, and lighter chatterbaits, like up to 3/8 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sweet spot too.
I've gotten a wild hair before and thrown a 1 ounce rattle trap off of this thing. So it works fine.
Story for another time.
Yeah, it works fine.
It's 24-ton graphite blank.
Indeed. And
so not necessarily super high quality,
but not bad.
but honestly, it's not bad. I mean, $35 for the rod
Yeah.
plus the reel.
Yeah. In terms of the grip, it's a very standard, split grip EVA foam type getup, and you have a little cork butt pad here at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really special. It's got your standard screw-on reel seat where you just tighten it down.
Now, obviously, you have a lot more experience with this than me. It's Trey's rod and reel. He's had it for, a year now?
Yeah.
Pretty confident that he can describe his experience with it. How comfortable is it in hand?
I will tell you, it's comfortable when it's dry, but the EVA has worn in at this point, and it's really slick. And then the plastic trigger right here is not perfect. It's got some... It'd be hard to see on the camera.
Yeah.
But it's got flashing.
Yeah, a little bit of flashing.
So whenever it's dry, it's fine. Whenever it's wet, it could get a little irritating and not as comfortable, but you can't complain.
Here's one thing to point out, though. It does have an exposed blank section beneath the reel. So you can still feel that blank. Not the most exposed you've ever seen, but it's something.
It's
you
there.
can still touch and feel the blank
Which
while fishing.
comes in handy because I've used this for jig fishing for smallmouth. And smallmouth have a tendency to either nail it super hard or it's a light bite in our experience.
Right.
So being able to feel the lightest of touches on a more sensitive, shorter rod helps. I do not know what guides these are.
I don't think they're any.
They're nothing special.
They're not sea guides. They're
No. And they're not ceramic.
I did a little research before I did this, just to be safe. They are solid stainless steel.
Indeed.
So they do, and it's all stainless steel. There's no zirconia inserts, of course not. There's no aluminum inserts. It's stainless steel.
Yep. So
they're showing you your $35 price point a little more, and the fact that you're not getting, super quality components. But I mean, it's getting the job done.
yeah, I mean,
It's held up for a year.
Yeah.
At least, and
$35 for a
gets
year.
you a year. I mean, that's pretty good.
I mean, yeah.
I guess let's go over the aesthetics of the rod a little bit. I mean, that's always a part of it. You want a good looking rod.
Keeping with Ozark Trail and how they like to brand their stuff, it's black, gray, and orange.
Very, very similar to a Dobbins Colt. It's very similar. I mean, it looks like a Dobbins Colt for the most part, except for the little cork. Yeah. I think it's a good looking rod for what it is.
It's decent looking. It's not bright in your face like the Xfinity is with the vibrant orange or the vibrant fluorescent green. But it's not bad looking, but it's not great or exemplary or really flashy. It just is what it is, unapologetically.
Indeed.
To speak on the rod a little bit more, I mean, it's pretty durable. I mean, I have checked water depth with this thing, just sticking it in the water tip first to see, all right.
I'm positive you've at least dropped it in the pond before.
Yes, yeah. It gets tossed around in the car, and the rod is held up fine. So, in terms of that aspect of the combo, it was well worth the money. And when the reel explodes on me, I'll always have a backup.
Right. And speaking of the reel, I guess let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit.
So, the reel is special, all right?
Just like us.
We nicknamed this combo the Walmart DC. In our previous videos, you may have been able to pick up on why, but if not, I'll roll a clip here of why. Now, y'all probably heard that squealing sound, that squalling, all right?
That is very reminiscent of a DC style reel, which is more expensive. I think the cheapest DC from at least big brands on the market right now is the SLX DC, which is at $180 price point. So you imagine our surprise at getting one with a $35 combo.
Yeah, and from our sleuthing and looking into it, we determined that the reel has a bad roller bearing in it. And when it gets wet, which the inside of the reel does, as the line gets wet from casting, it just likes to scream at you a little bit.
Yeah.
Cleaning it has not helped one bit.
And, you know, at this price point, you really don't want to spend the money to replace bearings.
No.
Especially when the reel still works, and it's still working to, I would say, its maximum capabilities.
Yeah.
So there's really no point. But speaking on the bearings, this is a 6 bearing system.
Indeed.
So it's a 5+1.
I do not believe they labeled what the max drag on this is.
I don't remember seeing it. I can whip out the phone real quick, and
whilst you do that, I'll continue to talk.
They don't.
They don't.
Okay,
All right.
They don't.
Here on the reel, it states line capacity is 12-pound test, 165 yards, 15-pound test, 155, with a 6:4-to-1 gear ratio.
Fairly industry standard.
Yeah.
The problem is there's not a lot of information given. There's the basics. They give us the amount of bearings, they give us the gear ratio, but they're not telling us the max drag.
No.
Which I would be honest in saying this. I feel like drag is kind of on a bell curve when it comes to reels.
Yeah.
When the lower price points you go, I feel like you have a higher max drag. Like I said, the Abu Garcia Black Max, that has a max drag of 18 pounds.
Whereas the Tatula CT has 13.
The SLX, 11. I just bought a couple new reels that I won't mention just yet because we're going to unbox those next week. But be looking forward to it. But, you know, I bought a $160 reel that has a max drag of 20 pounds. I bought a $100 reel, has a max drag of 15. It's kind of on a bell curve. I feel like if you start in that lower price point, I feel like you have a higher max drag. Then you get a little higher. You go down a little bit. Then as you get higher, you start to go back up in your max drag.
And
So,
yeah, I've noticed that too. It's quite an interesting phenomenon.
I will say, just because we're still talking about drag, not to discount that those, after you break through that $100 price point, that drag system itself is higher quality. It's made of better components and it will last longer.
It's just lower max poundage.
Right. And that's usually due to them trying to cut out certain components to decrease the reel's weight, because you don't want a super heavy reel. But, you know, components at that price point can only cost them so much as well.
Now, while the DC part of this reel was quite scary once it started happening, the primary thing about this reel I noticed is how smooth it casts for the money, and primarily the casting distance. But it still has its quirks in the fact that I have to keep the brakes on 10, regardless of any lure I use. Okay, without it, literally below 10, it's basically free spooling. I don't know why. But if I keep it at 10, it's fine. It'll squeal at me, it'll scream, but it'll launch whatever I want. Straight bombing casts. I remember me and you were out on a pontoon boat, and you were fishing with, what reel did you have on?
Was this a couple months ago?
Indeed.
I was probably throwing the Mach 1.
So he was
Probably what I was
using the Lose Mach 1, and I was distance-wise out casting him.
It was. Absolutely.
Out
was.
of a combo that's $35. That's
And we usually use the same line.
yeah.
And I think
We were both using swim jigs.
We were both throwing, and they were probably both 3/8 ounce.
Yeah.
He was out casting distance wise. He was out casting. That's 100% fact.
But at the same time, nothing about this reel is premium. It's completely graphite. They don't have to tell me that. I know that by looking at it. The reel seat's graphite, the side plates are graphite, nothing special. It's got a plastic button, thumb button.
I will say this. Here's one thing I'm impressed with at $35 combo price point. The grips here. They're that kind of rubbery type, slightly grippy, not too awful grippy. I mean, that's basically the same thing as what's on like a Daiwa Tatula CT.
Yeah.
As far as material wise.
Mm-hmm. Just without
like we
the branding.
said, you go up a little more, the old Black Max, that was just hard plastic. That's what you see a lot at this price point. It's just hard plastic with like a couple little divots in it. Not a lot of grip, not a lot of anything, but that has a little bit of grip to it.
Yep, that nice little rubberized.
It's not just standard EVA, and it's just not standard hard plastic.
Indeed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Logan. Reels in this price point, which there aren't many.
Casting wise.
How often do they have a clicking star drag?
It can go different ways. I'm pretty sure I had the Black Max for a long. I still have a Black Max. I don't ever use it, but I'm pretty positive it does not.
This does have a clicking star drag.
That's nice.
Granted, it's not a pleasant click. It's a little spongy. The star drag doesn't really. It's not optimum to work. I have in a video turned the star drag down through a hook set and started reeling in straight drag out of nowhere and have to fix that mid retrieve. But it does click. The tension knob does not click, and it is a very loose tension knob.
And like he just said, the tension knob doesn't click. That's something that you're probably not going to see until you get to at least the $100 range, I would venture.
Yeah.
But probably still 120, 130, 140, 150, so on.
I think my Revo X, before it blew up, it had a clicking tension knob, but my Tatula CT, which is $300 more, or $30 more, does still not have a clicking tension knob. So above 100, you'll start to see it. Mm-hmm. It's got a very similar takedown reel-wise to a Lose. It's got the big screw that goes across the top that whenever you unscrew it, you can remove the side plate that has the entry for the spool and then the brakes and the magnets itself. For $35 though, I mean, I have caught a lot of fish on this sucker and some big fish too, 3-pounders, 4-pounders on this thing. I've yet to catch a 5-pounder or larger on this, but I would have no worries in the rod and reel's capability to haul that fish in. Mm-hmm. Now, I do have worries of the reel more so than the rod.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, just to be fair, we're talking about a $35 combo, guys. He's already got a year out of it.
Yeah.
If you get a year out of it for $35, you're golden. I mean, that's something you really don't have to worry about. Oh, snapped my rod. I can't afford to get a new one. Because you can.
Buy another one.
If your reel blew up, buy another one.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, $35.
At this price point, it is legitimately cheaper to buy a new one than replace one or the other.
And if you can't afford it at $35, because obviously there's people out there who can't, ask your mama to get it for you for Christmas.
Indeed.
She'll get it for you.
But if you're hard-pressed for a casting combo that's good for just about anything a pond fisherman would likely be doing, to an extent, you could walk into a Walmart, find this sucker, replace the monofilament it comes with some fluorocarbon.
Yeah, we should point out, I think we might have neglected to say that. It does come pre-spooled with monofilament. I think like 8-pound monofilament probably.
Yeah. I instantly re-spooled it with 12-pound fluoro.
A full spool of that's like worth $1, so rip it off, put on your favorite fluorocarbon.
Yep.
I mean, you can throw braid on it. I would.
No.
Yeah.
For any of the things you would be using braid for, the reel speed and the rod type is not indicative of those techniques.
Right.
This is not a frogging combo.
Yeah.
This is not a heavy jig or T-rig combo. This is very much a moving bait and or finesse jig type combo.
Yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to throw weightless T-rigs on it.
No.
You can obviously do that. Even just like eighth, oh God, eighth ounce, that would be fine. I mean, you can get away with a lot on it.
Did you have a bug fly?
Something quarter ounce or less, I would throw it in T-rig. But I will say this: I honestly don't believe there's probably a better $35 combo out there,
No.
baitcaster wise.
No, not one bit. And the fact that it comes from Walmart is just hilarious. Because, you know, the shtick with Walmart is your one-stop shop for just about anything. Electronics, toilet paper, food, tires, they got it. Well, you could go into the same place you buy your kids' diapers, pick up your fishing license, a combo, and some lures, some Walmart brand Ozark Trail stuff, and go have a ball. For less than $100, you can fill up a tackle box and get a rod.
Oh, heck yeah. And like we said, guys, you can get this thing anywhere.
Indeed. Don't
you got
buy it
a
off
Walmart,
of eBay.
you can probably just go to your local Walmart and get it.
Now, I remember when these first started coming out and shipping
Yeah,
to
they
stores.
were kind of sparse. They were only here and there. It was a hit or miss whether your Walmart was going to have it.
And people were selling them on eBay for $60, $70. Pass if that's the price you're looking at. Pick it for $35.
Yeah. Look, since then, they're pretty much in stock.
Yeah,
Everywhere. I went in there the other day, they had like 6 or 7 of them.
they're there and they work. They're not premium, but they get the job done. And that's all you can ask out of a rod in this price point, that it just works.
Mm-hmm. That's why our verdict is good. And
Yep.
we're going to wrap up this video.
Indeed.
Please remember to like
Comment.
and subscribe
Hit that bell.
and set those notifications to all.
Let us know if you have ever had any experiences with this combo or have looked into it in the slightest.
And if you have any further questions on it, maybe something we didn't hit or whatever, just let us know in the comments. We'll be happy to answer you. You can even DM us on Instagram or Facebook. We'll get back to you. Speaking of which, check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget that this is only the 3rd video for Discussion December, in which we will be doing a video every work day. So Monday through Friday, all the way through December.
Indeed.
We got some good stuff coming up for you. Unboxings, as far as like those mystery boxes. We got real unboxings. We got bait hauls. We got deep dives. Gear end reviews like the one you're watching right now. So stick around.
Indeed. It'll be fun.
And peace.